Hey there, high level listeners. We're here with a brand new English vocabulary podcast episode talking about your house or your home in English. Whether you live in a two-story home, out in the suburbs, or in a shared house in the city, if you want to learn more naturally spoken English phrases, vocabulary, and pronunciation for both American and British English, you've come to the right place.
Yes, we think you have. Welcome to High Level Listening. This is our YouTube channel where we give you side-by-side American and British English to help take your English up to the next level. My name's Mark, the British voice, here on High Level Listening.
And I'm Kat, your American English teacher. So today we're going to be sharing our experiences talking about the homes that we live in. We'll do this by reading out a short script each. The first one about my experience living in my two-story house out in the suburbs in the United States.
And then I'll explain everything about living in a British house that I share with my housemates. First, we'll take you through each of our scripts. And after that, we'll head back to the start and we'll break things down line by line to explain the vocabulary and all the phrases in detail. We've even got some handy flags to highlight whether a word or a phrase is more common in American English or in British English, so you can catch the differences more easily. So we'll start. Kat will go ahead and read her script. Kat, what is your house like?
So I live in a two-story house in the suburbs, a bit outside of the city, and it's honestly the perfect spot for me and my family. The open floor plan downstairs makes it feel bright and spacious, and my cozy living room is where we all mostly hang out. It's got a fireplace, which is great in the winter, and sliding glass doors that lead out to the deck and the backyard. I love sitting out there in the evenings, especially when the weather is nice. The kitchen is pretty modern with stainless steel appliances and loads of counter space, so it's great for cooking. We even have an extra set of built in cabinets above the fridge, which is super handy for storage. Let's see. Upstairs, there are two bedrooms, and my room has a walk in closet and an ensuite bathroom. Can't complain about that. We've got a laundry room on the main floor next to the mudroom, which are pretty common in American houses, and there's a garage and driveway for parking. The central AC is an absolute lifesaver in the summer, and the central heating keeps everything warm and toasty in the winter. Honestly, it's just really a very practical and comfortable home. I feel like it's the perfect size, and I can see myself raising my family there. Okay, so I just explained a pretty typical American house that's out in the suburbs. So let's hear from Mark. He's going to be living in a house with some roommates or what he calls housemates. So let's hear from him.
I live in a shared terraced house with two housemates, like most people in the city. The kitchen and the living room are on the ground floor, and the kitchen's compact, but it has everything we need. The oven and hob are pretty new. There's a decent sized fridge and, of course, the washing machine. We've divvied up the cupboard space, so everyone's got their own shelf for food and bits. Our living room is quite sizable. It's got a big sofa, some armchairs, and a coffee table in the middle, so it's a nice communal space for us. We also get quite a bit of light from the French doors that go out to a little garden. My bedroom is up on the first floor. It isn't huge, but it's cozy enough. There's a skylight. I've put in a small desk and a bookshelf so it doubles up as a workspace when I need it. Bathroom-wise, the flat only has one, but we also have a small separate toilet, which is quite important with three of us sharing. We usually put our bikes and stuff in the landing, which is sometimes a bit of a squeeze, but honestly, it's a nice, no-fuss flat that suits me perfectly for the time being. Okay, so those are our scripts side by side. Like we promised, we're about to go back through them and break them down. We know it's important to follow along with us, and that's why we do add subtitles along the bottom of all our videos. But if you want to take your English to the next level, you can download a full script as a downloadable PDF. You can join us as a high-level listening member by clicking the link below. You can see every line and every sentence. You can read along, shadow along with us, and really improve and study any way you like. You can see the link to that in the description below. Anyway, we'll go back to the start of our scripts. Any vocabulary or phrases that we think are interesting, or maybe you don't already know, we'll explain. So, Kat, what kind of house do you live in again?
Well, I live in a two-story house in the suburbs, a bit outside of the city, and it's honestly the perfect spot for me and my family. So I live in a two-story house. when we have different levels of a house, we have the first story, one story. And if you have a two-story house, then you have two levels. Now, Mark and I can talk about this in a little bit. We have a little bit different words for this, but one story, two stories. This is a standalone house, meaning that I don't have neighbors touching the walls of my house, right? So I live in a two-story house, STORY, a two-story house in the suburbs. And the suburbs are usually the more residential area. So we're usually quite far away from the city. I would say in American cities, you've got the city center, and then you've got some residential areas. And then outside of the city, we have the suburbs. And the suburbs are going to be a bit quieter. The neighborhoods are going to be more spread out. If you're going to live in the suburbs, you're definitely going to need a car. Public transportation is not very easy to take out in the suburbs. But I live in a two-story house in the suburbs, a bit outside of the city. So a bit outside of the city, a bit outside of the city, a bit outside of the city, meaning it's not too far away, but it's not in the city either. It's definitely the suburbs. And it's honestly the perfect spot for me and my family. Sometimes we use instead of the perfect place, it's the perfect spot. So we use the word spot instead of the word place, and it's the perfect spot. The perfect spot for me and my family. It's a great place to live. It's a great location. It's the perfect spot for me and my family.
I wave my
All
little
right.
American flag
Yeah.
for the
Oh, yes.
suburbs. I do know what you
Ooh,
mean.
the
We don't
suburbs.
have the suburbs in the
Oh, you
UK.
don't?
There are
Okay.
residential areas with lots of houses, but we don't
Mm,
call it the suburbs. When I hear suburbs, I
okay.
associate that with the US only.
Uh-huh.
In England, it's just houses. There's a residential area or a housing
I've
estate.
Okay. Kind of as a slang, we call it the burbs. The burbs.
Yes, I've heard that
Ah, you
too.
used to live out in the city, now you live in the burbs. Yeah, the suburbs,
Mhm.
the suburbs. All right, Mark, what about you? What kind of house do you live in?
I live in a shared terraced house with two housemates, like most people in the city. Okay, yeah, this might be something a little more unique to the UK. I live in a city, so it's already very crowded and there's a lot of free space. There's not a lot of space for big houses. So a lot of people live in terraced houses.
Mhm.
It's TERRACED, terraced. And these are houses that are in a row and their walls are touching. You might have a house on the left side and then another house on the right side. There could be
Mhm.
3, 4, or 5 or more all in a row down one street. They're all
Okay.
houses. Those are terraced houses. And I live in a shared terraced house. So
Okay.
this is a shared house. Obviously, you might live with other people in the house, but a shared house means the other people are not my family. They're not my relatives. It's not my wife or anyone. They are other people that I didn't know before. Maybe you get to know them and you become friends, but this is also very common in the city, again, because accommodation is expensive and there aren't a lot of big places to live. So yeah, I have quite a few friends who live in London or in big cities, and they live in shared houses with
Mhm.
housemates, the people that they share the house with. You can have just one housemate. Some of the houses in the city have a lot, like 5 housemates or 6.
Wow.
They can be quite crowded places. I only have 2 housemates, which is actually not that bad. So yeah, I live in a shared terraced house with 2 housemates, like most people in the city. Okay, Kat, back to your script. What's it like inside your house?
So the open floor plan downstairs makes it feel bright and spacious, and my cozy living room is where we all mostly hang out. So I have an open floor plan. This has become pretty popular the past 10, 20 years. I remember growing up as a kid, we had kind of these squished kitchen and then a squished living room. Basically, if you remove all the walls between the kitchen and the living room, this is an open floor plan. Sometimes, if you have a studio apartment, there's no walls. Maybe there's just a wall for the bathroom. That's an open floor plan. As an adult, I love the open floor plan because it makes it feel bright and spacious. Okay. So you have the kitchen and the living room all open. You can chat with the kids that are sitting on the couch while you're making dinner. People can move in and out. They can do their homework on the countertops. It's really nice. It's an open floor plan. And my cozy living room is where we all mostly hang out. So if I'm cooking something, then the kids can do something in the living room. Or if the TV's on and someone's watching TV, then I can kind of chat with them while they're watching TV. My cozy living room is where we all mostly hang out. That means where we spend most of our time, just as a family, right? This is where we all mostly hang out. All right, Mark, what about you? What's it like inside of your house?
Got a long one here. The kitchen and the living room are on the ground floor. The kitchen's compact but has everything we need. The oven and hob are pretty new, and there's a decent sized fridge and, of course, the washing machine. We've divvied up the covered space, so everyone's got their own shelf for food and bits. Okay, so the first thing I want to highlight with my little British flag. Which one are you waving it for? Because
The
there's a few
ground
things in here.
floor. The
The
ground
ground
floor.
floor. Okay, I was going to start there. Yes, there's sometimes a bit of confusion between the US and the UK because
Yes.
in England, on the ground, next to the road or the pavement, that is the ground floor. The front door that you open to enter the house is the ground floor. Also, if you get in a lift or an elevator, on the buttons it will say G, then 1,
Mm.
2, 3, 4, and so on. So we call that the ground floor. What would you call that in the US?
So the ground floor in the UK, I would call it the first floor. So I would say if I walk in through my front door, this is the first floor. And for Mark,
The ground floor. Yes. So the kitchen and the living room are on the ground floor. The preposition's the same. You're on the ground floor, on the first floor. The kitchen's compact. The kitchen's compact. That means it's small, but compact sounds more positive. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's compact and small, meaning it's quite efficient. All the space is used. There's no wasted space. Compact is not a bad thing. It just means there is a lot inside that space. So the kitchen's compact, but has everything we need. The oven and the hob are pretty new. In a British kitchen, you'll probably have an oven, but the oven specifically is the little compartment under with a door you can open and close. The hob is the ring on top. If you want to boil water, if you want to make soup, if you want to fry something, you turn on the hob, that little ring. Okay. Would you call that something else in the States?
some people, I've heard the word hob, but we usually call it the burner or the stovetop. The burner is
Mm.
the actual ring, and you can have two burners, four burners, or you can have just the stove top, and that goes on top of the oven or on top of the stove.
Right. Yeah, stovetop I've definitely heard as well. Then also in the kitchen, there's a decent sized fridge. Decent is a good way to describe something that's good enough. I cannot expect more. If I'm living in a shared house in with a kitchen that's quite compact, I don't expect a giant fridge with two big doors like that. But it's decent sized. Maybe it's actually a little bit bigger than I expected. I can't complain. Yeah, it's a decent sized room. It's a decent sized fridge, means I'm quite satisfied. And another British thing about the kitchen is the washing machine. It's very
Oh,
normal. Yeah.
mm,
In the UK,
right.
we put the washing machine in the kitchen. It's usually
Yes.
under the sink or next to the dishwasher if you have one. Apparently, some other people think this is very strange and don't do this. I grew up with this, so I thought it was completely normal until I visited other countries and learned
All
that it's
in
not
one. Your
normal.
kitchens are all in one. If you need to do any
Hmm.
cleaning, any washing, anything, you can do it all in the kitchen.
Right? Yeah, you wash the dishes and your clothes at the same time.
There
Sometimes a
you
bit
go.
noisy, the machine is going loudly. You're like, what? You're trying to shout at the person across the room. That's just how we do it. We often don't have space for it anywhere else. It goes in the kitchen. Final thing, we've divvied up the cupboard space. I share my house with two others, sorry. There's 3 of us in total, so we have divvied up. Divvied is another way to say divided. We've divided up the cupboard space. I'm using a phrasal verb because native speakers like to do it to sound more friendly and casual. You can say we've divided the cupboard space. That would be right. I'm saying we've divvied up the cupboard space. So I have my space on the left, my housemate has their space on the right, and maybe my other housemate has another small section. So we have a compact kitchen, but we are organized and we have a separate space for all of our bits. Bits is stuff, maybe pasta, bread, sauces, bits in the kitchen. Bits is stuff. Okay, right, that was a long one. Back to you, Kat. We're still in your living room, I think, for the next script, or we're still on the first floor?
Yes. Still on the first floor for me. Yes, we haven't gone anywhere. We haven't gone upstairs. We're still on the first floor. Now, it's got a fireplace, which is great in the winter, and sliding glass doors that lead out to the deck in the backyard. I love sitting out there in the evenings, especially when the weather's nice. All right, so we've got some good words here. Now, you could say it has or it's got, which means it has got. It's got a fireplace. So when you're talking about what your house has, yeah, we've got a fireplace, we've got a backyard, we've got a front yard, we've got this, we've got that. Or we can say it's got. We have got, we've got, or it's got, it has got. It's got a fireplace. That is so common, and especially where I'm from, in Houston and in Texas, it's really crazy that American houses come with fireplaces when you live in a warm climate. It's really strange to me, honestly. I mean, I don't know when all the builders got together and thought, you know what? We're going to put a fireplace in every single home, even though the summers are 100 degrees, 42 degrees Celsius. I just don't understand it. But it's got a fireplace. Yeah, it's 2 days out of the year. It's really
for Santa
lovely.
to get into your house.
For Santa over Christmas time. Yeah, exactly. So it's got a fireplace, which is great in the winter, but that's it, right? Otherwise, it's just decoration. It's just decoration at that point. And sliding glass doors. Okay, so this is kind of a word you wonder what it's called, but they're sliding. So they don't open like this, like a normal door. They slide. It's a sliding door. And I just love those sliding glass doors. You just slide them open. They're big doors, but instead of being made of wood, they're made of glass. Okay, so sliding glass doors that lead out to the deck. So that means that I have a door from the living room. You slide open the door, and then you can go out onto the deck. So they lead out, or they kind of open up the backyard for you. So they lead out to the deck and the backyard. Now, one thing that's wonderful about living in the suburbs is all the space. So much space. Actually, so much space that it would be hard to walk from the middle of my neighborhood to the main road because each house has so much space. So a deck is like a patio, but a deck, I'm usually thinking of something that is made out of wood. Sometimes the deck is a little elevated, so it's a little bit higher up off the ground. So I'm thinking a deck is made out of wood. All right, so they lead out to the deck, and then you can go down the stairs or step off the deck and lead into the backyard. Now, in American English, we say the backyard and the front yard. It's our yard, front yard and backyard. I'm thinking green grass. I'm thinking just kind of an area where we can play. It usually has a fence in the backyard, but we never have a fence in the front yard.
I noticed that too. Yeah, there's just grass between one house and the next. There's no dividing line or no privacy. Totally open.
It's just completely open. Now, our backyard, we
Mm.
usually have a fence, and a fence is like a barrier showing the end of our property, right? And we have a fence. Usually they're made out of wood, sometimes they're made out of metal. Now, I love sitting out there in the evenings, especially when the weather's nice. If it's freezing outside, I'm inside for the 2 days of the year using my fireplace. But if not, I like to sit outside when the weather's nice. All right, Mark, let me know what's your living room like?
Our living room is quite sizable. It's got a big sofa, some armchairs, and a coffee table in the middle, so it's a nice communal space for us. We also get quite a bit of light from the French doors that go out into a little garden. Okay, so again, I'm living in a smaller house in the city, so there's not a lot of room, but our living room is quite sizable. It's quite sizable means it's actually quite big, or again, it's bigger than I expected, even though I'm
Surprising,
in this,
yeah.
right, even though I'm in this small terraced house, you think it's going to be really tiny, but actually it's quite sizable. Like Kat said, I'm going to use the same phrase. The room's got. It's
Hmm.
got a big sofa, some armchairs, and a coffee table in the middle. So it's a nice communal space for us. A communal space is a space to gather, to hang out and spend time in, all three of us. A communal area is a meeting place. So there's a TV, probably. There are places to sit. So it's a good place to relax, hang out, and chat. When we're not busy in our rooms or busy cooking in the kitchen, we might go to the communal area or this communal space. It depends on the layout of the house. Sometimes this can be in a kitchen, becomes the communal space because it's the most comfortable one to be around in. But in our case, it's our living room. It's sizable. It's got this nice furniture. It's a nice communal space. One thing you can also say about a room, if you get lots of light, a room gets light. That means that there might be a big window. And so when the sun rises, the room becomes very bright. You don't need a lot of lamps or lights, electric ones. So if a room gets light, that means it's a very bright room. And a lot of people like this. It can help you feel more awake. It can make winter a little bit more bearable because at least you have light. And yes, we also get quite a bit of light from the French doors. Cat has sliding glass doors, but we have French doors. So sliding doors go left and right. French doors you can open. You pull them towards you or you push them out. But again, there's two of them that close. So we have these French doors that go out to a little garden. I can wave
Mm.
my flag here. In the UK, you might have a front garden, an area with grass, and a back garden, an area with grass. We don't use the word yard. When you say yard, I think of something like concrete or
Okay.
paved, but a
Okay.
garden for us is in a house. So there's the back garden
Mm.
and the front garden.
When I think of a garden, I think of fruits and vegetables. So if I'm growing a
Mm,
garden or I have a garden, it's not just grass. It's I'm growing, I'm putting the seeds down, I'm picking fruits and vegetables from my garden.
I see. Yeah, right. In England, it's just the natural space in the
Okay.
back of your house, your garden.
Got
You
it.
can have an
Okay.
empty garden with no flowers and nothing in it. Everything's dead, but it's still the garden. That's just
Hey,
the
got
name
it.
of the
Got it.
space. Mm.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. So back to your house in the suburbs. Next, we're going into the kitchen. What's the kitchen
Mm.
like?
I'll be honest, the kitchen is. I know I said that the living room was kind of a fun place to hang out, but I just love having a really nice kitchen. So the kitchen is pretty modern with stainless steel appliances and loads of counter space. So it's great for cooking. We've even got an extra set of built in cabinets above the fridge, which is super handy for storage. Okay, so Americans love their big kitchens. I mean, we love them. We love huge kitchens. Grew up with a big kitchen. We spent a lot of time in the kitchen. So the kitchen is pretty modern. All right. If it's modern, then it's up to date. We have new appliances, a new fridge. We've got lots of countertop space. This is quite modern. So if something is pretty modern, it's new with stainless steel appliances. Okay. So, appliances, I think of the large electric devices, my fridge, my oven, my stovetop. These are all appliances, but we've also got small appliances. So we've got large appliances like the fridge, the stove, and the oven. We've got smaller appliances like a blender, a microwave, a cooker, a slow cooker, a rice cooker, things like that. These are all appliances. And stainless steel is just that nice silver metal look that doesn't get brown from rusting. Loads of counter space. Now your countertop, now usually when you're cooking, cutting anything, you would stand next to the countertop. It's usually up next to the wall. It's where we prepare the food. So you might prepare things on the table and it's about the same height. You go to the wall next to the fridge and you prepare your items on your countertops. So loads of counter space. So the counters are on top. And then we have counter space, lots of counter space. So it's great for cooking. We've even got an extra set of built-in cabinets. Now, one of my students asked me, what's the difference between cupboards and cabinets? I don't really have an answer, although a builder might say that cabinets are above, cupboards are below. But in that case, I don't actually think that's true because I call them cabinets or cupboards. So I don't think it really matters. Even if there is a real definition for that, people use them interchangeably. People break the rules. I'm sure there's a real answer out there, but we have an extra set of built-in cabinets. Ooh, that's so nice. Built in shelves, built-in library, built-in cabinets. This means that you are connecting them to the wall. Now, you could buy a small piece of furniture and put it in the corner. You could buy it and you can move it. But if it's built in, you can't move it. It's going to be stuck to the wall. All right. So this is something that some people like to do, build it into the wall. So these are built-in cabinets above the fridge. Ooh, how nice is that for that extra storage space? So it's super handy for storage, meaning super convenient. Oh, how handy, how convenient, how nice, how easy to use those. And it's great for storage. Storage is where we put items we don't need to use right now. So if I'm not using this, I can put it in storage. If I have extra rice, I'll put it in storage. I don't need it right now, so I'm going to put it away in storage and store it. All right, excellent. So now it sounds like you have this communal area, Mark, which for me, a communal area means anybody can use it, right? But I mean, do you have your own bedroom? Like, is that quite private? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes, definitely have my own bedroom. My bedroom is up on the first floor. It isn't huge, but it's cozy enough. There's a skylight, and I've put in a small desk and a bookshelf, so it doubles up as a workspace when I need it. So, like we said, the entrance or the floor on the ground, I can't say it another way, is the ground floor. So, yes, we're on the ground floor. There's the living room and the kitchen. I go upstairs on the first floor. So my bedroom is up on the first floor. It isn't huge, but it's cozy enough. It isn't huge. This is very typical in these shared terraced houses. What they often do in London is take a normal family home and then convert it into 3 or 4 separate bedrooms. That way the landlord can make more money. And yes, the tenants pay less for the rent as well. People share houses because it's cheaper at the end of the day. It isn't huge, but it's cozy enough. Cozy means when I go there, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and I can relax there. It's a nice environment to relax. There's a skylight. A skylight is a small window that goes in the ceiling. A lot of British roofs are shaped like this. So if you live in a bedroom or have a bedroom at the very top under the roof, you can put a window into the side that you can open and close, and that's called a skylight. You can open the skylight, close it. Some people have a blind that covers the skylight for when they go to bed, and that's very typical. That also gets more light in the room. And I've put a small desk and a bookshelf, so it doubles up as a workspace when I need it. Again, I don't have a huge amount of room in this house, so I put a desk and a bookshelf so it doubles up as. That means I can use it for two things. I can use it as a sleeping area in my bed, and then I can go to my desk, sit down, and work. It does two in one, so it doubles up as a workspace. You might have some other things in your house, like a sofa that doubles up as a bed. You can like open the sofa and it becomes a bed. It's two in one. So if something doubles up as, then you can use one space or one thing for two different ways. This is also pretty common in these compact houses. All right, so back to your place. Now we're going to the upstairs of the bedrooms for your place. What are they like?
Upstairs, which in American English I would call the second floor, it's like Mark's first floor is going to be up here. And my first floor
Right.
is going to be down here. So we're
Yeah, that's
always
it.
we're always trying to catch up to you guys, right? So if you're
A
going up
one
to the
step ahead.
second floor, wait, I'm only here, right?
Right.
So I know. So the first floor is where we walk in. So upstairs on the second floor, there are two bedrooms, and my room has a walk-in closet and an ensuite bathroom. So I can't complain about that, of course. Now, it is, again, Americans really do like their space, right? We love space. And my room has a walk-in closet. A
Very
walk-in
fancy.
closet. That's so nice. Now, normally, in some homes, you basically have a closet. You usually put clothes in it. For storage in the kitchen, we often call it the pantry, cabinets, cupboards. That's storage in there. But usually for clothing, we call it a closet, especially if you open a full door and there's clothes in there. That would be a closet. But I have a walk-in closet, meaning I can walk into a small room and look at my clothes. This is a walk-in closet. When you're renting an apartment, when you're renting a home, this is a big selling point. Look at the huge walk-in closet. Ooh, that's really fancy. And an ensuite bathroom. An ensuite bathroom is connected to the room. So it really is a very private bathroom. Mark was talking about having an extra toilet or one bathroom that you guys all share. No, only I can go into this bathroom because it's connected to my bedroom. You would have to walk through my bedroom to get to this bathroom. So that's what we call ensuite. And really, I can't complain about that. That is super nice. It is really super nice.
Do you want to do the spelling of ensuite as well? Because a lot of my students read it and pronounce it wrong.
Oh, yes. It's very, very French, isn't it? So an ensuite is E-N, usually a little dash or a little space, S-U-I-T-E, a suite, ensuite. And sometimes people don't even say the word bathroom. It's an ensuite, which means that the bathroom is
Right.
connected to the room. Since we're on the topic of bathrooms, I gotta know. I mean, how do you share a bathroom? How do you have a communal bathroom with three different people?
Bathroom wise, the flat only has one, but we also have a small separate toilet, which is quite important with three of us sharing. So bathroom wise, the flat only has one, and this is quite a typical situation for shared houses. Bathroom wise is a good way to introduce a topic that you want to talk about next. You could say noun and then wise. So space wise, it's quite big. Rent wise, it's quite expensive. Bathroom wise means I'm talking about the bathrooms. So bathroom wise, the flat only has one, but we also have a small separate toilet. So when I say a toilet, yeah, that means that you can go into this very small room, but you cannot wash your hair. You can't take a shower in there. There is only a toilet in that room and maybe a small sink to wash your hands afterwards. That is a toilet. So we do have two options. The main bathroom, where you could have a bath or take a shower, will have a toilet in there as well. But then there's also a small separate one. If there's, an emergency, then you have a second option to go to if it's early in the morning and all three of us need the bathroom all at the same time. So yes, we do have this layout. And again, this is quite typical in shared houses. I've seen houses with 5 housemates, 1 bathroom, and then 1 small
No.
separate toilet. The landlords really just pack as many people as they can into these houses, and that's the situation. It's kind of like student accommodation. It's not much different, except you could be like 30 years old and still living like a student because the city's so expensive. Yes. Okay, I see you waving your flag. Which part of the script was very British?
Toilet. Toilet.
Toilet.
We Americans hate the word toilet. We
I
hate
know.
it. We think it's gross. When you say, "Can I go to the toilet?" Where are your toilets? Americans,
They
we
squirm. They're like,
what?
ew, ew,
Ew, you want the
toilet.
toilet?
It's gross.
It's uncommon to have a room with just, and it's not that uncommon, but if you have it, it's still a bathroom. Even if you
Mm,
cannot bathe, it is still a bathroom. Okay.
mm.
So we have a small bathroom, or we sometimes call it a half bath. A half bath.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mm.
that means that there is a toilet and a sink, but we never ever call it the toilet. And in fact, if you say it to your American friends, they might giggle a
Ew.
little bit. Ew, the
Mm. I
toilet.
know.
So,
So
where is
mature.
your bathroom? Where is your restroom? A half
Hmm.
bath would be a toilet only and the sink. But yes, we don't usually
Right.
say where are the toilets. Ew.
I have to make a point to change the word I use. When I go to the US,
Yes.
I want to say, where are the toilets? But I remember
No.
I'm in America. Where are
Yep.
the bathrooms? Where are the restrooms? Yeah, I
Ew.
have to change it because Americans get
Uh-huh.
all grossed out.
Squirmy. We get all squirmy.
Squirmy. Okay, so back to your house in the suburbs. Do you have any other special rooms?
So we've got a laundry room on the main floor. Now, if I say main floor, that's probably going to be the first floor. That's our main floor. That's usually the biggest floor in the house because you're not going to make the second floor bigger. So we've got a laundry room on the main floor next to the mudroom, which are pretty common in American houses. And there's a garage and a driveway for parking. So a laundry room. Now, Mark had his washing machine just in the kitchen. Most Americans have a laundry room. It's not usually very big. It's just big enough probably for a washer and a dryer. Lots of Americans have a dryer as well. Even if you rent an apartment, you'll probably have a washer and dryer inside of your own apartment. It's not communal, it's something that you have on your own. So we've got a laundry room on the main floor next to the mud room. This is becoming more popular over the years. A mud room is just simply where you would take off your shoes if you come in through the back door. So sometimes you have to go through the back door, through a mud room, and through the laundry room before you enter the house. Okay. So sometimes we have a separate entrance. This is where you would take off your shoes if you have muddy shoes. And there's a garage and driveway for parking. A garage, garage,
Wave
garage.
the flag for that one.
Uh-huh. A garage
I
and
say a garage.
garage.
A garage. Uh-huh.
Yes.
The garage.
So one more time, Mark. A, I
Mm.
almost said it wrong. A garage.
A garage.
Hmm. And a driveway for parking. So it's very common to park your car right next to your house, right in front of your house. The garage is usually a separate section. It's not usually built as nicely as the rest of your home because you're going to put your car in it. But the driveway takes you from the street, you go up the driveway, and then you park into your garage. So we've got a garage and a driveway that belongs to me. That's my house, that's part of my property.
I would also, sorry, I didn't wave it at the
Yes.
time, but the mudroom was
Oh, the
something I
mudroom.
learned only today from this script. I don't know anyone who has a mudroom in the UK, but you said it's
Yeah.
just a place for cleaning your shoes or leaving like
Sometimes it's
dirty shoes.
yeah, sometimes it's basically right next to the laundry room or it's part of the laundry room. So you kind of have an area where you can take off your shoes. We put raincoats, umbrellas, dirty boots, something hiking boots and things like that. We would put that probably in the mud room. Don't think of it as like a huge room, like a bedroom size room. It's more like just a storage area for all these kind of dirty items from outside.
Okay,
especially
so
if you have
that
dogs. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, so my mum has a mud room then. She
Okay.
has a little area just after the front door where you hang up your coats and leave your shoes.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
we
for
call
sure.
it the coat room or just the little front room. I don't
Front
think I've ever called it
entranceway.
the mud
Mhm.
room. Yeah, right. That's interesting.
Ours are probably not going to be at the front of the house. They're probably going to be at the back
Right.
house entrance. I would say so. You usually have the front entrance to your home and a back entrance, and then you have a door to the backyard. So you usually have three different entrances, three different exits in a way. Like, so the front door is for guests, the back door is usually through the garage, and then you have another door that goes out into your backyard. That would be kind of typical. Okay, so all these housemates, all these roommates, does it ever get crowded at the house?
Yes, we put our bikes in the landing, which is sometimes a bit of a squeeze. So the first area is the landing. We put our bikes in the landing. It's very common, again, for people in the city to ride bicycles. It's just as fast as taking public transport, and it's free and it's good exercise. We put our bikes in the landing, and the landing is sort of in front of the front door. When you open the door and walk in, it's a small space. It's a space to take off your coat, take off your shoes. Often, if you visit a British person's house, they might say, leave your shoes in the landing,
Mhm.
or just leave your umbrella in the landing. It's often just a
That's your
small
mud
space
room.
where you
That's
can.
probably your mud room.
Yeah, it is. And it's often, the landing is often where the stairs also connect. So if you're in the landing, you
Interesting.
can continue into this room, or you can turn and go up the stairs. But anyway, we put our bikes in the landing. So that could be 2 or 3 bicycles, which is sometimes a bit of a squeeze. I think this is quite a British way of saying it's very crowded and there's not a lot of space. We like to understate things or make them sound less of a problem. So it's a bit of a squeeze. It's narrow, it's tight. It could be like getting on the tube in London. It's a bit of a squeeze. Or if you're trying to fit a big sofa into a living room, it's a bit of a squeeze, but you can get it in there. So if you don't have a lot of space, this is a good British phrase to use. It's a bit of a squeeze. Okay, back to your house here. I know you mentioned that you are from Houston, and I know it gets very hot there. Do you have anything to help you fight the heat?
So the central AC is an absolute lifesaver in the summer, and the central heating keeps everything warm and toasty in the winter. So when we talk about central air or central AC, that means that we have a big unit outside that pushes air throughout the house. This is really common in the United States, but you don't see it in a lot of other houses in other parts of the world. Usually, if you have one air conditioner, AC, makes it so much easier. One air conditioner for one room, we call that an AC unit. But if you have one that goes through the whole house, we call that central air or central AC or even central heating. So heating and cooling, central AC, central heating. So cooling is for cooling down and heating is for warming up. So it keeps everything warm and toasty in the winter. All right. So, Mark, with all of this communal area, I mean, you have this nice and cozy bit. It's a little bit of a squeeze. I mean, do you like living there?
Yes, honestly, it's a nice, no fuss place that suits me perfectly for the time being. So, yeah, in spite of the one bathroom, the small or compact kitchen, and the cozy bedroom, honestly, it is a nice, no fuss place. No fuss means everything is quite simple and it's practical. There's nothing extra or luxurious, but that's not what I expected. It has everything I need and everything works. So it's no fuss, no problems. It's basic, but in a good way. It's a no fuss place that suits me perfectly for the time being. If it suits me, then yeah, it's what I want. Again, I don't expect luxury, a giant garden or a super modern open plan kitchen. No, it suits me perfectly. It could also be the budget Maybe I only want to spend a certain amount on accommodation, so it suits me perfectly for the time being. For the time being means just for now. Maybe in a year or a couple of years, I will want some more of my own space. Maybe I want more privacy, or maybe I want to have my own house to myself. But that's in the future. For now, for the time being, now it suits me perfectly. Okay, and then what are your final thoughts on your house?
It's just a really practical and comfortable home. I feel like it's the perfect size, and I can see myself raising my family there. So, if something is practical, that means that you can do everything you need to do. All right. Maybe you can't do everything you want to do, but you can do everything you need to do. So, it's quite practical and comfortable. I feel like it's the perfect size. It's not too big, it's not too small. And I can see myself raising my family there. So, raising your family is when you have babies and they grow up into bigger babies, right? So you are
Yeah.
raising your family there. All right, so we've gone through tons of great vocabulary. Let's just do a quick recap of the words you learned from my script: a two-story house, the suburbs, an open floor plan, bright and spacious, cozy, the living room, a fireplace, sliding glass doors, a deck, the backyard, modern, stainless steel appliances, counter space, built-in cabinets, storage, walk-in closet, ensuite bathroom, laundry room, a mudroom, the garage, a driveway, central AC, central heating, practical, comfortable, and the perfect size. I told you we learned a lot of vocabulary today.
Mm. Yes, right. And there's more. Here's the vocabulary from my script: a shared house, a terraced house, two housemates, on the ground floor, compact, the oven, the hob, decent sized, we divvied up the cupboard space, sizable, a communal space, French doors, up on the first floor, a skylight, it doubles as a workspace, bathroom-wise, the landing, a no-fuss place.
All right. So, everybody, how'd you like the video today? Did you learn anything new? Let us know in the comments. What was your favorite phrase? What was the newest vocabulary word? What's your home like where you live? We love hearing from you, and we do read and reply to every single comment. So, please get in touch in the comments below.
Yes, please do. And also, if you want to get the PDF transcript of this episode and all of our other episodes as well, you can join us as a High Level Listening member by clicking in the link in the description below. They're very helpful. You can download them, take them offline, you can read them and study them in any way you like. Also, don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel. We put out 2 videos every week, and we've been doing so for months, almost a year at this point. So if you don't want to miss any of our future ones, click those and you'll never miss them.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time for another episode here on High Level Listening very soon. Bye, everybody.